You have been criticizing yourselves all your life and it hasn't worked. Try appreciating yourself and see how it goes. You have been trying to be aware of everyone else's thoughts and feelings around you and it hasn't worked. Try being aware of your own thoughts and see how it goes. A very hearty good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone. My name is Arzu Chandran. I'm from India. I'm at University, Mumbai. I'm an undergraduate student pursuing BA honors in applied psychology. We belong to mental health group 2, and the title of our research paper is Self Compassion, Mindfulness, and Quality of Life. Self compassion and mindfulness are those powerful tools which control your emotional resilience. They hold the power to either destroy or push your emotional resilience to some higher limits, maybe to the sky. So, I would like to share a personal experience with you all. It's about my school days, about how I was. I was an overachiever. I had the habit to achieve everything, seek academic validation, be a perfectionist in everything I did. Gradually, when I came towards the end of my high school, like the middle of my high school actually, my mental health started to decline a lot. I was scoring great marks. I was always in my top 10. I was scoring great. I was doing very great academically. But in turn, I was not giving myself the time to enjoy, to get the experiences a child deserves when he or she is 14 to 15 years of age. I was neglecting myself very badly. I started to lose interest in my activities, whatever I was doing with my friends and my friend group. Like I just started to avoid my friend group altogether because I got the feeling of not being enough. Like I did not love myself at all. So I was just feeling the constant, the low, like I was in a constant low. So after like a period of 2 to 3 years, I gradually understood how important self compassion is, how important it is to love myself, because no one is going to teach you self compassion and mindfulness. You have to um, think and work it out for yourself on your own. You need to learn. You need to learn to love yourself in order to grow, or to deal with anything in your life. I learned that perfectionism will increase, but it will in turn reduce your self compassion, your quality of life. And when your quality of life decreases, everything just decreases. Your experiences, you are just in the survival mode. You are not living your life, you're just surviving it, just completing some task. Every day is a mission for you. You're just going on with it and on with it. That's my take on self compassion and how it affects, like how perfectionism affects self compassion. I would like to ask Horta about her views on self compassion and perfectionism.
Hello, I'm Sorkasara Hodder. I go to the Evergreen State College. My contribution to our study is the analysis of secondary research with varying subject pools to address the impact possible underlying conditions may have on our data. Relating to what Arzu said, I also had issues with perfectionism. I attended a military academy for school while I was an adolescent, and I was an officer, and I pushed myself really hard to be perfect all of the time, and I really did not take care of myself because of that, and it affected my physical well-being as well as my mental well-being. My personal takeaway from this project was exploring self-compassion within perfectionism. In my class, we dedicated time to ancient arts such as calligraphy and painting. Here, I learned not only to take time to myself to appreciate art, but also to be patient with myself in my mistakes. Brian, what are your thoughts on this project?
Well, I have found, thank you, Hodder. I have found that the quality of life or well-being has an objective view perspective and a subjective view perspective. What was interesting to me is that mindfulness and self-compassion are aimed mainly toward subjective or inner perspective, but also have a residual effect on the objective perspective from the outside environment. We can edit our stories from within and can have a great influence on the bigger story we all share. I've been able to live out being mindful by just observing all the perceived life stressors, like when I get on my lawnmower and I'm all happy about to go mow the lawn, but then something breaks, and then and then I'm like, oh, it's okay. A lot of people have things that break, and then yeah, like that's one of my stories. But that the things that come my way from school and everyday life, and I apply also the self-compassion to each micro moment. And I have found overall great improvements in my well-being, and others have noticed or have told me, what have you been doing lately? You seem a lot happier. After this experience with experimenting with mindfulness and self-compassion over this time with our group, writing our paper, I have felt a deep sense of completeness working with my friends from all walks of life. I have not only learned about what mindfulness and self-compassion are, but have had the experiential knowledge of it, as I am sure my friends have had over this period of time, researching and reflecting. And one last thing I would like to share is that I had to become more malleable and be okay with things. I have had to lay down my boxed in view of things and lay them down my walls that were preventing me from connecting and flourishing. But I've learned how to do this over this period of time working with all of you. And I would pass it on to Trin. Can you share some of your experiences in researching and reflecting?
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. And I'm a member of mental health group 2, and I'm responsible for discussion and conclusion part for our paper, which I've been working on with Jam. And while doing the research, I have quite a lot of reflection, which will be clear through my personal experience that I'm going to share right now. Well, and that was when I was in secondary school. Like, I used to be a smart and hardworking student at the first time, but things didn't go well when I was in grade 7 or 8 because some factors affected negatively on me, and it led to poor school performance and also bad behavior. I didn't notice that I had disappointed my friends, my teachers, and my true friends that much. Then I started feeling guilty and like despair of myself. I didn't tell anyone because, as I mentioned before, I made them upset enough. So how could I be deserved to confide with them or be listened by anyone? And then I became more overthinking, depressed, more factual, and more sensitive. Um, and that state lasted until high school. Um, I, I did hurt myself quite a lot, sometimes by action, sometimes by words, whenever I couldn't achieve what I expected. And when it reached the climax, I started asking for help. And the moment when people surround me, they all saw and they knew what was going on to me, was really, really touching to me. And what they helped me was to consolidate my belief in myself because they couldn't go along with me my whole life, and only I can save my whole life. And it took me about 3 years and a half to be fine enough, and I learned a lot from this experience. I realized my belief as well as my ability. And I know that many people also suffer from mental illness. Just don't be too harsh on yourself because we are just human beings and nobody is perfect. We have our whole life to fail and learn. So just take it slowly. Treat yourself like treating a baby. More gently, more calmly, more carefully. Get yourself some chocolates when you're down mood or say something sweet to yourself every day. And these are also the messages that I want to spread to whoever is listening. And also, I have a question about our research. Do you have Anything to add to it?
Thank you, Trin. So I would just like to add about our paper, research paper. So the objective of our paper was to study and fathom how self-compassion and mindfulness affects an individual's quality of life, or in general, people's quality of life. So we did our research, primary data collection in India and Vietnam, as we did not get ethical clearance due to the shortage of time in USA. So within 5 to 6 hours of the Google form circulation, we received 64 responses from India and 53 responses from Vietnam. We did a SPSS analysis. We done an SPSS analysis of T-test and ANOVA, and we got great results. We have submitted a paper, and I would just like to share my experience with working with such a great team. Actually, I would just like to let you all know that being a leader, uh, I got such huge, great cooperation from every person present in this group. The level of hard work, the level of smart work, the level of kindness each and every person showed here to everyone, like amongst ourselves, was very great to see people from different cultural backgrounds, different countries coming together for one project and doing so well in such a short time. It was such a great experience. Like, words cannot meet what I'm feeling right now. It was such a great experience working with you all. And as Trin said, love yourself, treat yourself with chocolates, go listen to music, watch a movie, do anything you want, which you love. Love yourself. That's all I would like to say. Brian, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I would just like to say that along with you that this has been a great project to work with everybody here, and I've definitely felt the connections that was, I think, meant for this symposium, Oceans of Connections, and I definitely have a deeper understanding of what mindfulness is and self-compassion, and to take that time to love yourself and to love others, and the mindfulness to make those connections, and self-compassion and compassion to strengthen those connections. And we are all telling a story, and let our story be told, and let us all be a part of that story, because this is something great to be shared. That's all I got from this.
I would just like to say, talking with everyone, I have learned one thing, that patience and understanding are the two important keys to do anything in our life. Understanding everyone's perspective and having the patience to understand that, and working together in a group will always yield you to better results. Would like now, I would like to pass it on to Quantram now.